Everyone knows Dr. Mario is cool as fuck, but what is he thinking? Who knows why he pops viruses? And why don't we think of him as fondly as the mythical, legendary Base Mario, perchance? I believe it was Pit from Kid Icarus who once said, "I don't think that's a real doctor." Dr. Mario exhibits being a real doctor by killing the plague all day, but he also exhibits competing visions by doing plumber work. You need soft hands for surgery, Mario. What is going on? No, okay, that wasn't actually my intro. In all seriousness, I find the case of Dr. Mario very fascinating. For all infects and purposes, he is Mario in a lab coat removing illnesses, and this is the assumed role of Dr. Mario, the idea of Dr. Mario. But curiously, Dr. Mario the Man has started to PhD merge over time as a separate being from merely being Mario in a lab coat, thus causing a conflict, a dichotomy, if you will. Dr. Mario the Man versus Dr. Mario the idea. In this essay, I will separate the two concepts so we can know for certain who this figure of Dr. Mario truly is and what he represents, perchance. I hope you're vaccinated. The first appearance of Dr. Mario was the game Dr. Mario in 1990 for both Game Boy and Nintendo Entertainment System. It would later get an arcade release as well. It's a falling block puzzle game inspired by games like Tetris and Puyo Puyo, where you play as Mario, only as a doctor, who is tasked with eliminating some vaguely alien-shaped viruses, named Fever, Chill, and Weird, who have made their home in a little bottle, I guess. To be more specific, you control a pill thrown by Dr. Mario, and have to rotate it to match each color of virus. 3 objects of one color, including the virus, causes them to pop out of existence. The challenge comes into play at the speed in which you have to rotate and think, and a mistake can be catastrophic, as the wrong color being placed on a virus means you'll need to stack 2 more pills of the same color to compensate. And if you make a mistake there, well, you better stack those pills again. If one end of a pill is broken, the other will fall, meaning chain reactions can be made for some extra points. Personally, I prefer a more simple game, like the aforementioned Tetris or Puyo Puyo, but there's definitely a solid concept and gameplay loop in the series. It was a big success, selling nearly 10 million copies on both systems, and it spawned lots and lots of sequels, which mostly try to replicate the same gameplay loop, such as Tetris and Dr. Mario for SNES, Dr. Mario and Puzzle League for GBA, or the Wii-era Dr. Mario titles. It even got some sequels which change up the story context a lot, like the very strange Dr. Mario 64, which is essentially a crossover with Wario Land, or Dr. Luigi, which I'll need to talk about more in depth later. The real matter of concern for us, however, is the fact that Mario was the protagonist. It was met with curiosity, and many a joke has been made about Mario not being suited to be a doctor. Even some suggesting he doesn't have his license and is performing medical malpractice. Mario has always been associated with blue-collar work, and at least in North America, he fits into the image of a working-class Italian-American guy. He was a carpenter and a plumber previously, so a doctor is pretty strange. In reality though, Nintendo is known as a company that takes a gameplay-first approach to developing games, so I don't think this was any different. A lot of their titles come up with a gameplay concept before any franchise or characters even get attached to them, and I would bet money they came up with the idea of Dr. Mario curing viruses by popping them with pills first, and then made it about Dr. Mario. They even had numerous other puzzle games with Mario characters around the time, like Wario's Woods, Yoshi, or Yoshi's Cookie, so I doubt this idea was formed with too much thought, and that's actually perfectly okay in my book. I'd also wager that since it was developed in Japan, they'd likely have a less strong conception of Mario as a working-class Italian-American guy, and less of a conception of that culturally, but that's just a gaijin's guess. The point is, Nintendo created Dr. Mario the idea, and 10 million people accepted it. But over time, as Dr. Mario became more of an accepted common figure, another aspect has emerged. That being Super Smash Bros. Is a crossover fighting game made up of a bunch of Nintendo characters, and of course, Mario made the roster since the first game. The sequel is Super Smash Bros. Melee, released in 2001, and it started to include some clone characters, as the community calls them at the time. Those are characters with separate roster slots and animations, but the same movesets as another character, or mostly the same moveset. Ganondorf over Captain Falcon, Falco over Fox, Roy over Marth, and of course, Dr. Mario over Mario. Dr. Mario was absent from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, but then secured a spot in the latest two games, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. All hell broke loose. Smash, with its massive success, has unintentionally had a huge influence on the perception of many characters in its roster, even outside of their franchise. You'll see Waluigi characterized as this crying, rejected loser thanks to Smash, Captain Falcon as a badass superhero with the signature Falcon Punch, or Roy as our boy. And with the series' combined sales of over 70 million, it looms over Dr. Mario's legacy, so it's inevitable it'll have some effect on it. The biggest effect it did have was simply because Dr. Mario appears as a separate character from Mario. Is Dr. Mario a different person than Mario? What the hell? They had the opportunity to make him a costume for Mario, like Builder Mario is, and they didn't do it. So it's chaos on the internet in terms of who Dr. Mario the Man is believed to be. You might see fan art where Dr. Mario is Mario, operating perfectly fine as a doctor, or Mario is committing medical malpractice, or maybe Dr. Mario is just a sick fuck impersonating Mario to do God knows what. What's the true answer, though? Well, Nintendo doesn't care. This is Mario, not Sonic. Do you think they really care to have an explanation for this discrepancy? It's a kid's game. And through Dr. Luigi and the mobile game Dr. Mario World, basically every major character in the Mario universe has doctor equivalents now. You think Mario getting a doctorate is weird? Take a look at Dr. Dolphin. Fans have firmly established the idea of Dr. Mario the Man. But did you hear what I just said there? The idea of Dr. Mario the Man. As human beings, we have a tendency to want to explain things. We just like having reasonable explanations for things, even in our media, and even in our media for kids. It's fun to speculate on why some dogs are people in the Mickey Mouse universe, and why Pluto is a pet. I imagine the massive success of games like Five Nights at Freddy's also contribute to this idea of finding darker secrets in kids' media. But just like with Mickey Mouse, Mario is more of a brand than a series, and precise details can be glossed over at times. Dr. Mario is and will always be an idea instead of a man. This title was a lie. There was no Dr. Mario the Man. He's always an idea, and any interpretation of him as a man is as valid as any other interpretation, but there was no clear and official man who Dr. Mario is. I guess the most accurate thing would be to say Dr. Mario the Man versus Dr. Mario the Idea. Dr. Mario the Idea represents a human tendency to explain things, and any Dr. Mario the Man is but a mere child of the human psyche, perchance. But all that's kind of boring. Let's actually Dr. Mario the Man, for real this time. You know what I think? I think being a doctor in the Mushroom Kingdom is very, very easy. All you need to do is throw some pills in a guy's stomach and rotate them right a few times, and they're cured. When's the last time you saw anyone sick in Mario? Exactly. I'm even talking like Donkey Kong, Wario. When's the last time in any of the Mario multimedia franchise someone has been sick? The worst that could happen is someone's stomach being backed up with a bunch of random pills in them. So, Mario, smart as he is, was the first person to see this, and he took up being a doctor to help his kingdom. Of course, it's quite easy to switch between being a plumber to a doctor here in the Mushroom Kingdom, so he took out the profession with ease. But that's not how the rest of the world sees it. The real world saw Mario as a fraud. They saw his profession of doctor, and fueled by racism and classism, immediately thought he was fake because of his past as a plumber. Italians can't be doctors, they say. Also, he didn't have a medical degree, so that was part of it. But hey, university is expensive and Mario can only have 99 coins at a time. So I believe Smash's Dr. Mario is a manifestation of Mario's othering, and his belief that to be a doctor, he must necessarily be another person. To help people, he must be someone other than himself. The only help Mario can give is in the bathroom. Like with plumbing. So the conflict between Dr. Mario the man and Dr. Mario the idea is done with no items on Final Destination. And once Mario is able to tame his inhibitions, he becomes better. He becomes Dr. Mario, not the man, not the idea, but Dr. Mario the entity. This epic battle made doctoring quite famous in the Mushroom Kingdom, and others like Luigi would take up the profession. So this is where Dr. Mario World fits in, and wait, does the name Dr. Luigi imply his last name is Luigi? Is that like a thing for show, or did he change his last name? I thought it was Mario and Luigi Mario. What the hell? Okay, I'm gonna try to be less pretentious now or whatever, but I do think Dr. Mario is an interesting symbol. This character's existence was likely made up on a whim, but in our pursuit of knowledge, basically everyone has their own headcanon for who or what Dr. Mario is, and we'll probably never know the mystery of Dr. Mario, because that's just not the series that Mario is. Mario is weird, not just because there are flying turtles and mushroom people, but because it's not always internally consistent. Why is Mario going to the real-life Olympics with his main antagonist and also the characters of another franchise? I don't know. It's Mario. It's Mario! So, I guess my diagnosis to the disease that is this video's thesis is that the conflict of Dr. Mario the man versus Dr. Mario the idea is one of conflicting visions. Between those who love Mario and see him as a franchise fitting of any situation they can put him in, and those who love Mario in that they see it as a series with continuity and lore. I think each perspective is equally valid. But hey, that's just a perchance. A game perchance. Thanks for watching. Also, if you're still here, thanks for watching. And if you would subscribe to this small YouTube channel, I would appreciate it. So yeah, once again, thank you so much. Mario really should get that degree though.